US President Barack Obama is set to visit what's now the world's largest protected marine sanctuary. It surrounds part of the state of Hawaii where the president was born. Mr. Obama arrived in Hawaii on Wednesday. He'll visit the wildlife refuge about 8 hours from now. He just expanded the refuge last week, quadrupling its size. Now, the remote Midway Atoll is inside the lines of this sanctuary. It's described by some as a Garden of Eden because its islands are home to some 7,000 marine species, many of them not found anywhere else in the world. The remote island wildlife refuge is home to 20 species of birds native to Hawaii. One of the rarest marine mammals, the Hawaiian monk seal, finds a safe haven in Midway's beaches and lagoons. And threatened green sea turtles are commonly spotted by divers. And the waters are teeming with some 250 species of coral reef fish and other marine life. Well, I want to bring in David Guggenheim. He's a marine scientist and founder of the ocean group Ocean Doctor, the conservation group. He's with us now from Washington. This, with one broad stroke of an executive pen in the White House, has protected a huge swath of the ocean.
It's enormous, and bigger is actually better when it comes to this kind of protection. My focus has always been on coral reef ecosystems, and this is teeming with corals. I've described corals as one of the most endangered animals on the planet, and sadly we've lost about half of the world's coral reefs in the last 50 years. This kind of protection can really make a difference.
And we know it's a marine monument, essentially. And we know that former President George W. Bush was actually the one who initially expanded this protection. But interestingly, there seemed to have been a lot of debate on this, particularly in Hawaii. People felt that perhaps some of their fishing rights were being violated here.
Well, this is always a concern when you're creating protected areas, and the good news about the Northwest Hawaiian Islands is that the number of fishermen out there is relatively small, and it's always a balance. But we always have to remember fish are a public resource. They belong to all of us, and they have important jobs to do in the ecosystem, and one of those jobs is keeping coral reefs clean and keeping coral reef ecosystems functioning the way they should. They're not crops that we harvest, they're part of that ecosystem. So setting up no fishing areas is a very important tool in our tool bag to protect these amazing ecosystems.
And just paint a picture for us. I mean, we kind of described it before we came to you of some of the extraordinary wildlife and corals there. But I mean, they're black-footed albatrosses, spinner dolphins. Just give us an understanding of what President Obama has done here.
Well, he's protecting all elements of this magnificent ecosystem at once. By protecting the area, you know, we are still trying to understand how these magnificent ecosystems works. They're fantastically complex. And he's protected everything from the deep sea corals, these black corals that can live to be 4,000 years old, the oldest animals on the planet, right up to these albatross that soar in the skies. And we know we're having a lot of trouble with all of these creatures. Right in the middle is one of the cutest creatures you'd ever want to see, basically a sea puppy, the Hawaiian monk seal. It's very endangered. It's a small seal. And there used to be a Caribbean monk seal, and the last ones were spotted, I believe, in the mid-20th century, and they've sadly gone extinct. So this is giving those guys a chance to recover.
David Guggenheim, thank you so much for your perspective. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're watching CNN. Moving on.